a lot of the Chinese companies or Chinese brands, after they're successful in China, or at the same time they're expanding, they pick the strategy of going global, going abroad. But one of the tough choices is whether they start from Southeast Asia, which is closer to China, and a lot of Chinese customers are going there, expanding to Southeast Asia as well. Then you're an infrastructure provider, and then you go with them, or go directly to the bigger or tougher market like US or Europe. What do you think? Earlier this year, I actually interviewed 2 other Chinese database companies, CEO or their head, and they have different picks. One guy said, I need to follow my customers or go to Southeast Asia. One guy said, if I'm not successful in the US, I'm no longer successful in other parts of the world. So I need to pick the toughest market to go. What is your strategy? Or was Yuri's suggestion later on?
Mm-hmm. Well, I won't call a unique solution there. I don't think I have the best solution, but I can tell you 2 things I tried and so far successful. For one, before I joined NetData, I was the business owner, the head of database team for the international for Alibaba Cloud. So simply put, outside mainland China, all the Alibaba Cloud database product, including TP, AP, NoSQL, and utilities, their revenue is my responsibility. So I tried US, I tried European country, I tried Southeast Asia, I tried Japan. I got great successful in Japan and Southeast Asia. I usually travel from San Francisco to Singapore 3 times every 2 months. The longest flight outside San Francisco. So there's a reason for that, because Alibaba as a platform already have some branding in Asia.
That's right.
So I got, and also have a local support, my BD, business people, sales people there. So that's one thing. But another thing is, I'm not trying to make this suggestion for all the Chinese company, because Alibaba is unique.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I do see the value of make your name in Silicon Valley. Although I'm proud to say Hangzhou, we are compete there. We are one of the good place to be a star, to be in. But Silicon Valley so far is still the best place for startups, and the best place to collaborate, to communicate.
And I think, especially when you talk about databases, history will tell that this is Silicon Valley has been the core innovation hotbed, right? Nowhere else can compete against Silicon Valley in terms of databases.
And for some way, people believe a garage in Silicon Valley is better than a high building in, for example, Tokyo, because the results showing that the garage seems to have more innovation in the past 50 years. And some garages have more than another.
I think it's the culture. It's pretty much the people you can hire in this local region.
Yeah, not only that, if I may. So I spend about 2/3 of my time in Silicon Valley, 1/3 in China. So it's much easier for me to get a CTO, a CEO of different level to grab a coffee together and to talk about, hey, maybe I can put some code in your code and you put some code in mine. That partnership together to integrate our product together, much easier. So I think that's because of culture. So that's what I believe. So to end up my suggestion, for a company want to make their name, they need to showcase their product in Silicon Valley. Tell them, hey, I'm here. I can help your business. I can help your product.
Yeah.
So that's one of my take.
Yeah. So kind of a two-way strategy. Yeah.
It's a great question, and as Imai, you were talking, I was thinking about that as well, and I'm actually a little bit of a split mind. I mean, I appreciate the differences, Silicon Valley, and I've spent decades there myself, so I'm definitely very familiar with it, more so than other places. But at the same time, I see a lot of innovation. I see a lot of great ideas. I see a lot of great contributions coming from all over the world. And ClickHouse, for example, was originally developed in Europe.
Yeah.
It didn't come out of Silicon Valley as an open source technology. Of course, we formed the company as a Silicon Valley company, but we have employees all over the world. Majority of our employees are actually not in California. About half of our employees are in Europe. We have employees in Asia and all over North America as well. And the way I think about growth and opportunity is try to serve the most complex, the biggest scale. And again, I'm not a politician. I'm not a business person. I'm an engineer first and foremost. And I feel that if we can have our solution work for the biggest, most advanced customers out there, biggest scale, complex technical product requirements, then we'll be successful all over the world. And actually, those companies, they're global companies as well. We're serving banks. For example, Deutsche Bank uses ClickHouse, or Harvest Fund in China. We have global streaming companies like Disney or Netflix or Comcast, insurance companies, manufacturing companies. And those are global companies. And if you can make your technology, your product, serve them well, they will take you all over the world.
Yeah.
And I think trying to build a great solution that works for those most advanced use cases will help you be successful globally. Of course, you have to be mindful about local regulation, the language support, and all of that stuff. I don't want to diminish that requirements, but I think the most fundamental thing is be the best solution for the hardest, biggest scale, most difficult technical products, serve the developer well, and then the rest of it will happen.
Yeah. And here, this country is never short of that tough challenges, because as we knew that 30 years ago, a lot of the toughest OLAP or OLTP questions or challenges are in the U.S. banks, Wall Street, and things like that, right? But nowadays, if you especially go online, go internet, go mobile world, I think by population or by data amounts, I think China is the place to solve.